I created this for two main reasons. Number one, dentists aren't happy with various aspects of their career or their employees or their patients or their income. There's something there, right? Now, the second thing was a lot of people may be doing okay and they like where they're at, but they want to be better. They want to be further down the road. They want to get there faster. So how can they get there, right? And that's why we learn. That's why we expand ourselves through education and mentorship and other types of ways to learn, to broaden our horizons. So dentistry is a fabulous profession. Don't get me wrong. You can make a really nice living at it, but obviously to perform at a higher level, there's ceilings, self-imposed ceilings, and ceilings from, let's say, insurance or patients and other things. But we can move ceilings. It can be done. It's just a matter of finding the right tool, finding the right mindset, finding the right mentor to get you to the next level. And let's face it, you can get a lot of places faster if someone's helping you. So there's a few key concepts that I wanted to go over in this webinar that I wanted to share with you. And I call this the Legion framework. And so if you're not familiar with Legion, Legion is my brand, my company. And so working together as a group, we can do far more than being alone. A lot of dentists work alone, and it's harder that way. So to have other like-minded individuals is important. So the Legion framework is comprised of three trifectas, as I call them. There are three things you need to master to become more successful in dentistry. Now, the first, well, it's you. If you can master yourself, you can do a lot of things, right? Hard to master yourself. It's a constant thing throughout your whole life, right? Is learning and expanding and mastering who you are and what you're here for and what you're planning on doing and how you're going to get there. Now, the second is your employees. The number one frustration the ADA says is your employees. So how can we master them? How can we get better performance? How can we track them, hold them accountable? And the third is your patients, right? So these trifectas, they balance each other. If you put too much emphasis on one, you can't be as successful. You need to balance all three, right? So each one of them has components that you have to become an expert at, right? But yet most of the time we focus on one thing. What? We focus on us. We focus on how can we be better at our craft and how can we deliver that to the patient's mouth. That's the 99% kind of study of dentists. So let's dive deeper into what I want to cover today. Think for a minute. What are your three biggest problems in dentistry? The three things you hate the most, that frustrate you the most, that you dislike the most. And if you didn't bring it with you, you should have downloaded the cheat sheet. But a piece of paper will suffice as well if you didn't get it. So what are these three things? Write them down. So this isn't me telling you a bunch of stuff that you're just going to listen and take it in. This is literally a workshop. I want you to change something in your world from having been here today. The three things, whether it's current problems, long-term problems, goals, whatever it is, what are the three biggest concerns you have in your business right now? The three things you wish or hope or dream would change. Write them down on your cheat sheet. This is under number 2. So it says, what are the 3 secrets to make your dental office more profitable and become the most desirable in town? What are those 3 things? Now think about it. If you removed these 3 things, how great would your life be at that point? Without those frustrations, those limitations, those distractions, where could you go and what could you do if they were gone? So these are powerful, right? 3 things. This is where we find growth. This is where we find expansion, is the 3 darkest things, the 3 things that trouble us most. And when you've conquered those, find 3 new ones. Okay, so you've written them down by now. Let's move on to the next slide. So we know dentistry has a lot of frustrations. We've all been there. We've all experienced the same ones. Some of us are further down the path and have experienced them and moved our ceiling up and expanded ourselves and moved on. Others haven't. Others are still learning. And they're not maybe getting the right information. So they're having to go through the same hurdles, the same pitfalls that others of us have already gone through. And they're potentially struggling. And so helping each other becomes valuable. And again, that's part of what Legion is. So think of dental school, depending on how long you've been out. You know, I've been out for many years, having gotten out back in '94. But dental school offers you a service, right? the vision of success and financial freedom when you get to the finish line, to become a business owner or an employee, if you choose to be. They gave you a set schedule in school. They taught you fundamentals, the basics, so that you could get your license, go out in the real world. And they gave you a roadmap. Here, if you do all these things, you will graduate. You'll be able to pass your board exam, get your license, and go into the real world. And now we all found that once you did that, they basically prepared you for a test. But once you got through that test, you get to the real world and you're like, wow, it's a little different out here. I got the basics, but I've got to learn a lot. I've got to expand myself. And so the way I look at dental school is, hey, it was great that it got me there, but it kind of let me down. And maybe you feel the same or different, but I felt like, okay, I did not get any training on how to run my business, on how to bill insurance companies and deal with the headache of insurance, on managing my employees, on office systems, budgeting skills, business goals, various types of dentistry, in my case, cosmetics, legal issues, sales skills. For those of you who don't like sales, we're all selling something. Every time you show up to that patient, you're selling yourself, that they'll move forward with you. So sales isn't a bad word, it's a good word. Communication skills, getting people to move forward, to get out of their own way. Marketing and advertising, case presentations, the list can go on. They didn't teach us these because there wasn't a test for it. Their job is to get you to pass a test, not to be successful in business. And so again, you can hang a shingle out there and do okay, but if you really want to do well, you've got to learn all these. So recognize that after graduation, you are unprepared and you have debt. And depending on where you are in your career, you may have gotten out of that debt. Some of you may still be struggling with it. That means you got to work harder, right? There's no guarantee of money. Every day you are learning how to find more people that need and want your services. Okay. And if you're with an insurance company, you may have to write off at the end of the day anywhere from 30, 40% of what you produced because the insurance company has capitated you to stay within their confinements. So there's a ceiling right there. You work hard, but you don't get all that money. You get less. And then the government takes their part and you get less. And you have overhead, so you get less. How do you fix all those? So these daily frustrations of running the business and dealing with employees and hoping for more new patients. That's why I said hoping. Hoping to do bigger and more profitable cases. Hoping to be more profitable. That's not by lowering overhead and cutting corners on some materials or not buying things. That's living in scarcity. You want to live in abundance. So what do most dentists do? They feel the need to see more patients. So if they can see more patients, they can make more money. They're trying to see more people, put more people in your schedule. Is that going to be more frustrating potentially, especially if you run behind on something? So there's a problem right there, is it not? Now, I'm not saying not to contract with insurance companies. It works whether you're in insurance or not. But at some point, you have to realize you need to learn more about something other than just occlusion and restorative treatments. You're still missing out on the big picture. You're missing out on all the problems that you have to contend with. And most dentists push those off onto other people. Oh, someone else will manage the employees. I got an HR person, or I got an office manager to handle that. Or I've got a marketing company that does my marketing for me. And yet you might not be happy with the marketing, but you're hoping they're going to make something happen for you. So again, lots of limitations. And so we dream of something better. The dream of, let's say, maybe a fee-for-service practice where all these headaches are gone. They're not gone. They're different. They're different. It's a totally different headache. Okay. Even though I've been fee-for-service from day one, I'm a different breed. And that's what I'm going to be sharing with you here. Don't think that you have to go off insurance. It's a different headache. It can be done. It frees up a lot of headaches, but there's different headaches. There will always be headaches. It's how you manage them. And Ivan, the reason I describe you to a T in your comment here, because I've been there. I'm there every day. And we can't share this at the podium. No, that's not allowed. So what do? Do you fall on your sword and just chalk it up and going, hey, this is the rest of my life. This is the career I chose. This is what I'm going to be doing the rest of my life. I'm frustrated. I'm stressed. Eventually, if you've been in dentistry long enough, you get burnt out, right? So hence Legion. Legion becomes basically a group of like-minded individuals that can come here and talk about these things. Share your frustrations, share your fight. We all fight. We all fight every day, but we fight together, we become stronger. So again, what is your problem? What is your frustration? Right? Do we stay on the sword? Do we fall on it every day? And what does that do? Do we do what everyone else in dentistry does? Is that getting anyone anywhere? Or do we be different? Do we think different? Are we honest with ourselves with where the problem is? What is the one thing we can change right now and get rid of? And then get the next two after that to get all three. For some, it's low income. For some, it's living paycheck to paycheck, hoping you get enough patients each month, hoping they're on the schedule that they need something that's going to pay your bills, right? Little retirement when you get to later in the ages. You know, how many dentists are still working in their 70s? Why is that? What's missing? So think about this. This is important because it doesn't get talked about. And what I hear most from dentists is they're tired, they're overwhelmed, and they can't see enough patients. They can't make enough money, or they don't have enough patients, and they're still in debt, and they're trying to service that, but they're trying to live. Okay? It's a problem. Let's look at why. Dentist earnings over 20 years were flat. And this was a study by the ADA. The dental market grew by 70% from 1990 to 2015. But dentists, general dentists, their earnings remain flat. Interesting, right? You got inflation. My rent goes up every year. Every year, you know, there's a cost of living raise. There's manufacturers and labs raise their fees. But how come you're not making more money? Right? No one's coming to save you. Our dental lobbyists, they did nothing to help us during the lockdown, during the pandemic. We were deemed non-essential. They removed our access to PPE for a while there. No one is coming to save you. So look at this number here, 185,000. Okay, that was in 2015 at the end. And look where it is now from a recent survey. This is in California. It was saying the average income for a dentist in California is 189,000. Right? Now, another study said that in May of 2021, the average annual pay for a dentist in California was 155,000. Okay. So depending on which survey you look at, it's low. It's either the same as it was in 2015, 6 years ago, or it's even lower. Isn't that interesting? If everything's going up, why are we going backwards? So now that you're seeing this, what's part of the cause? Well, part of the cause is this. Reimbursements rates are continuing to decline. Now, this was a study from back in 2010 to 2015 talking about the states they declined in. And so if you're living in one of these states, you may, if you're contracted with insurance, which 90% are, you may have seen like, oh my gosh, they're cutting it again. I'm getting less, right? Do you think a discussion on why your paycheck as an Uber dental office is going down every year? And yeah, I say Uber dental office because it's not your office. They own you, the insurance company. If you're contracted with them, they own you. And they're just going to keep pushing your fees down. And the mindset of most dentists, 90% that are on it usually, is okay, well, I'll just keep taking it because if I don't take it, I won't have patients. Patients won't come to me. I won't make money. That is the scarcity. That's the tactic that keeps everyone involved. And so they know that they can put your rates lower because they know the majority of dentists aren't going to do anything about it. So maybe now is a time to think about some tactics and some skill sets to implement, because this isn't going to get better with time. Look at when insurance started back in the 60s at about $1,000 to $1,500 a year. It's still there. They're not looking to help you. They're not looking to help the patient. That's something that the patients should know about. The public should know about. So if you think your business needs a change and you need to spend more time on unique ways to run your business, that's why we're here. 90% of dental offices are on dental insurance, and it's getting worse. Yet most dentists are not doing anything about it. And many dentists just want to go work in these large DSOs and let someone else deal with the headache. And that's fine. That's a job. You're working for someone else. So how do you create the practice and income you want without relying on insurance and becoming burned out? Well, how to become more successful in dentistry without relying on insurance is simple. You can get rid of it. You say, well, that can't do that. Not going to work. I know it's a scary thing. And I'm not telling you to get rid of it. I've got people that are contracted with insurance that are crushing it, even though they're contracted. So again, not telling you to drop insurance. If you want to go that route, that's a whole nother game and we can talk about it. But you don't have to get rid of insurance. You might have to work a little more, let's say, to make ends meet because they're taking a chunk of it. But there's ways to work outside of the boundaries of insurance, even though you're contracted, to still make money. So whether you choose to accept insurance or not, both businesses have their challenges, but both are doable using my techniques. So the first thing you have to think about is you. Who do we want to blame with everything? We want to blame the insurance companies. We want to blame the patients. We want to blame whatever. But ultimately, whose fault is it? Right? Think about it. As soon as we start to recognize where the problem lies and we can fix that, it's amazing how much more successful we can become. So taking ownership, that's the first thing to do. Looking in the mirror is tough. So the light goes on. Like, oh my gosh, you're right. Extreme ownership, it all is on me. So how am I going to get what I want? What am I going to do? Well, first thing is being honest. Honest with yourself and honest with others. Inside Allegiant, it's all about honesty. So it happens for everyone at some point that a light goes on. Everyone that I've worked with, the light went on. It's like, wow, you're right. Identify the frustrations and problems, use them as a powerful weapon of change. We try to do everything ourselves. We're perfectionists. That's just the nature of a dentist. As time goes by, you realize, hey, it doesn't have to be all on me. I need to delegate. I need to think bigger. The only way I'm going to grow is to allow other people to do the work for me, to do more of the lifting. I need to become more strategic and tactical. I need to think like a businessman more than ever. And it's just going to get worse. You're going to have to learn how to implement and think ahead of the curve if you want to survive and dominate. So people like Hugh Flax out in Atlanta, Georgia. Hugh Flax is an amazing dentist. I've known him for many years. He's taken a few of my programs. It's always fun to see what Hugh comes up with. And we're working together all the time, talking about possibilities. And so he's the past president of the American Academy of Cosmetic Dentistry. He's a fellow in the Implant Academy. Dr. Flax literally has gone through 3 of my programs and continues to crush it daily, weekly, monthly, always going above and beyond in himself, in his marketing, in his team, and for his patients. He's doing things most dentists wouldn't do. He's implemented unique marketing strategies that 99.9% dentists would never try or think of. He's authored books. He's gone on signing tours. He's appeared on TV news stations. He is a bit of a celebrity rock star when it comes to dentists in his area. Okay? Few people play at this level, but he's positioned himself as a leader in the industry that has brought about a financial gain to himself because he thinks and acts differently. He doesn't ask his colleagues that are all doing the same thing. He looks outside of that. He positions himself in a different manner. He does things to create the world he wants to live in. He doesn't follow everyone else. He qualifies who he wants to treat as a patient. Patients don't choose him. He chooses the patient. That's a big concept. Most dentists don't understand this. They want to treat everybody. He pre-qualifies them, determines who he's willing to treat, who he wants to treat. Patients don't get to decide. Here's another example. Chris Christensen, phenomenal dentist. He's out in Albuquerque, New Mexico. He's a co-owner for Comfort Dental franchise, DSO. He's taken a couple of my different programs known as Inception and Singularity and has done some one-on-one coaching. He has record months with increased case acceptance and revenue. He's implemented changes in his scheduling and his marketing and his case communications that the whole office is scratching their head going, hey, where did you learn all this? And when did you just start doing this? Because his numbers are now outperforming his colleagues and they're asking themselves and him, how is he doing it? He's thinking and acting differently. things that patients haven't seen typically, and dentists certainly haven't as well. So improving his case communication skills, improving the way he interacts with his employees and his patients, changing the way he markets to get what he wants in this world, all of these things have made a difference. So if you've struggled to make money, the money you desire, if you have any type of frustrations in that, recognize it's not your fault. Nobody has trained you yet. Dental school didn't train you. Nobody on the podium has trained you. They're still talking how to do more materials and fillings. Well, if you don't have patients, or if you don't have patients that need those services, how are you ever supposed to do those, right? You got to have patience. You got to have patients move forward. So thinking differently about attracting and converting patients into clients and getting them to move forward with treatment, those are two huge skills. Now, if you've been concerned in the past that you don't, or you can't do a lot of elective dentistry and make money without becoming an expert and spending a lot of money on classes and technology, which I see all the time. Everyone's talking about, I'm taking this course, I'm taking that course, I'm learning this, I'm learning that. I'm like, yeah, but the one thing you're not doing is learning how to run the business, attract the right patients, and convert them. You're hoping the patient needs whatever it is you're learning. But if that doesn't happen, patients don't need what you just took a class on. Well, now you're waiting and hoping that someone shows up that you get to use it. So how good can you really be on that technique if no one's coming in for it? Because it takes repetition, right? So dentists think they must compete by accepting insurance and offering discounts and offering every procedure under the sun. But it's not true. You think it's true. Most people think it's true. But you wouldn't know unless you tried, and that's scary. It's uncomfortable. Potentially doing one thing like a specialist is actually more lucrative. I'm not saying to throw everything away. But if you look at the income that a specialist makes, they make more money than GPs. And yet they do typically one service, right? Gum therapy, root canals, extractions. It's one thing. Patients know when they go there, they're getting the one thing they want, as opposed to a dentist that claims to offer everything. There's a big difference. So I'm here to show you how to grow your business and increase your profit margin without spending a single dime. Okay. So which came first? Chicken or the egg? Think about it. To become an expert takes time and repetition. So you'll be a popular person once you've done the repetition. So if you go and take a bunch of classes on cosmetics or occlusion or root canals, whatever it is, you take all that training and studying, but are you good at it? You haven't done any repetitions, right? So you need patience to be able to do the reps. And you're going, yeah, but I need to learn it before I can treat them. You will never get good at anything until you just jump in and start to practice. You have to have the repetitions. You say, well, I can't do it until I learn it. You learn through mistakes. Doesn't matter how well you learned it, until you actually go to the patient's mouth, you don't truly know how to do anything, right? It's what we learn as we go through. So if you want to have the big house, the car, the vacation, the boat, the ring, the purse, shoes, whatever it is you want to have, you need people. You will learn by treating people. Now, that's not to say you shouldn't have some understanding of what something is before you go into the mouth. You obviously have to have that. But to try and be an expert and take weeks and months worth of training, but not be able to treat a patient doesn't suffice. You have to learn how to attract and treat these patients. So who am I? If you don't know who I am, I'm just a dentist. I'm a man, I'm a dentist, I'm a husband, I'm a parent, but I've done a lot of things, right? You know, I started off from scratch. We're going to start a second office from scratch next year. COVID put us behind a little bit. We don't take insurance. We're fee for service, right? My next office is not going to have any employees. You go, wait, what? Yeah, no insurance, no employees. You're like, how is that possible? Wait and see. So yeah, I'm a businessman. I think differently. I'm a dentist, but I'm a businessman. So done a lot of things as far as creating graduate programs so people could learn more about cosmetics and occlusion and restorative dentistry. You know, I became a fellow in the AACD. I'm a fellow in the American Board of Aesthetic Dentistry. I'm an author. I'm a lecturer. I'm a professional race car driver, and I like business. I've got software companies and other things. You go, how does he do all these things? It's because I want to do them. I'm committed to doing them. So think about all the things you wish or hope you could do. You can do all of them. It's just a matter of figuring out time, priorities, and putting things in place. So I don't mention all these things to blow smoke up your backside. I mention it because what I can show you is how to get what you want in this world, and dentistry is the way to get there. Dentistry is your golden egg that allows you to build and grow and either stay within the confines of dentistry or expand into collateral areas to make profit from other types of industries or widgets or services. Okay? There's a lot of ways in which to become more successful without being just at a chair doing dentistry. Okay? Now, I started working when I was in 5th grade as a paper boy. I ran my own business. That was a business. I had to attract customers. I had to convert them. I had to deliver the paper every day. And so for 3 or 4 years, I was on my bike every morning at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, delivering papers. I was committed. I had to be there. I then worked for UPS part-time while I was going to school to pay for bills. Get up in the morning, 12 a.m., work from 12 to about 7, go to school. I then went into car sales. So I've done a lot of sales. I've learned a lot of business. And so that has allowed me, along with continued reading and growth, to get to a different place. So to work 2.5 days, sometimes 3 days a week, and make a 7-figure income is crazy, but it can be done. So that's what we're here to talk about. So again, if you're not aware of who I am, if this is something you saw from an ad, recognize I've done what I say. I'm not one of those guys out there peddling BS, blowing smoke. Everything I say and do, I've done. I've done the hard work. I've had failures, I've had setbacks, but I've never been defeated. So if you've seen me lecture, if you've seen me on magazines, if you've read my articles, you realize that, hey, I'm a teacher. I'm a builder. I'm also an adrenaline junkie. I push myself to that level. And I've created a mindset for being unstoppable by putting myself in uncomfortable places, places where a lot of people wouldn't put themselves, right? Because this is what allows us to grow and push the ceiling, our limits, pushing ourselves further to expand, to rise, to get to a new level, versus most people want to be comfortable, or as I would call it, lazy. So to have the spare time, the freedom to do things you've always wanted to do. For me, it was to go heli skiing every other year, to race cars professionally, to spend more time with family, to have goals within dentistry. All these things can be done. Whatever you want in this world, you can have if you choose to go after them. Now, how you get them is through hard work and the assistance of others and knowledge, but it's all achievable. So for me to open from scratch and to sleep on the floor, this is literally floor right outside my office right here. I slept there a couple nights a week when I was building out my office. I've slept there. I slept on the floor in a sleeping bag. I slept on another friend's floor. I slept on my sister's floor. Every once in a while, I get a bed. I knew what I wanted, and I had to sacrifice some things. I had to commit to some things. If I wasn't there, well, then usually I was, found in, let's say, a campground down the street. Yeah, you can be fine there sleeping. And if it wasn't there, well, then I might have been in my Jeep, sleeping in the back of that if it was raining. And that sink that I showed you, that's the sink in my lab right here. That's where I do my hair in the morning. So you think I was committed? You better believe it. Starting from scratch, no insurance, fee for service, I had to find patients. Do you think I got good at finding patients? You better believe it. So the struggle to find enough patients to pay for my personal student loans, my bills, my food, the shelter, something had to give. Okay. The same is true now. Every day you are looking for the next thing. You don't have guaranteed patients unless you're comfortable with the guarantee of them coming in for cleanings and you're hoping they need something, right? So how do I get patients each month, each week, each day that want certain services and want us to move forward? That's the power that you should be learning as a dentist, not learning how to do another filling or crown or veneer, okay? So to find enough patients to pay all these things was what I had to learn. I put myself in a tough place. It was either lose everything I built or find the answer. So the struggle was real. And it's going to be real again when I open the next office over in Las Vegas. So I had to go to war. I had to fight battles every day. That was okay. Reason? Because I had burned the boats. I could not go back. I invested everything I had. I was all in. There was no way to go backwards. So being tired of working for someone else, being tired of insurance companies, that's what fueled me to do something different. Okay, so I learned it was either sink or swim. It was all on me. Okay, so here's some questions for you. What have you given up because of dentistry? It could be in your life. What have you not done that you wanted to do? It could be within dentistry. What have you given up as far as your, let's say, maybe it's ownership, your income, your sanity? You define what that is. What have you given up? Second question is, what do you wish you could be doing in business and life? What's the pipe dream? Where would you like to be? What would you have in a perfect world? So every week I get asked again, how do I do all this stuff? And that's basically why I created this program. I've got a lot of different programs and different things, but this program in particular is, how do I do all these things? How do I get to that place? I'm not special. I'm the same as everyone out there. I'm just a dentist that is pushing for something different and thinking and looking at things differently. And I have systems that allow me to become successful no matter what I try to do, whether it was into the software game, whether it was into a surf apparel industry, whether it was to go out and race cars professionally. There is a system to all this. Okay. So I want to show you what that is. Mindsets and systems are important. So the epiphany, the things that everyone is afraid of and fear the most can be done. So when you hear people say, oh, you can't do that. First question is, have you done it? No. Okay, then we're not listening to them. How often do we listen to everyone else, and everyone else's limitations hold us back? Stop listening to them. Stop following them. You've probably heard people say, hey, if you hang out with millionaires or successful people, you'll raise to their level. It's true, because you're learning what they already know and they may take for granted as they're pushing further, but you raise to their level. It's kind of like playing tennis. You ever play tennis with someone that's really good? If you're not good at tennis, they hit the ball to you pretty well and you can get a rally going. But if you're not good and the person on the side's not good, the ball's not going anywhere, right? You're chasing it. Well, it's kind of the same. If you're hanging out with people that know what they're talking about and they've done it, as opposed to people that claim it can't be done, you'll do better. So which way do you want to go, up or down? So a lot of people fear that you can't do things such as open an office from scratch in a saturated community. You can't open an office without taking insurance. You can't do this, you can't do that. You can do anything you want. You don't have to treat everyone. You don't have to provide everything. Most people are wrong. Most people have their own fears and limitations. So what I discovered was being unique and different and communicating that. Spending time with patients so they appreciate and value and see a difference allows me to get more patients. Patients that are coming from other dental offices thinking that I'm somehow different because the perception of my marketing and advertising makes me unique enough that they see a difference compared to dentists that are around me. So firing myself as a dentist and starting to act like a CEO. That's the first thing you got to learn how to do. That's what I had to do. So the plan is simple. You have to change yourself. You have to think differently. Okay? Stop acting like a dentist. Stop listening to other dentists. Time to be honest. Time to be happy with moving forward and doing something different. So going all in on yourself, leveraging yourself the same as I. I called it the credit card roulette. I'd walk into Ralph's across the street and I was going to buy some food for the week and I'd pull out all my credit cards. Which one would not be declined? This was 21 years ago. Which one of these will be accepted so I can buy food for the week? Okay. I didn't have all the knowledge. I didn't have all the skills. I was only 6 years out of dental school. Okay. I didn't have all the knowledge. I didn't have all the skill sets. I was new, right? Didn't have any patience. All I had was excuses and fears, or push those aside and say, you know what? Not listening to those. I'm going all in. We're creating something here. We're going full on for growth. And to this day, I still go all in on me because that's what gets the job done. So how often are you going all in on you? Or are you allowing someone else to do the work for you? Because I can tell you, when you gamble on yourself, if you're committed, the end result will always be success and freedom if you're willing to do what it takes. So the transformation, the shift in the mindset, the newfound confidence that comes with it, there's a change in perspective. The ability to push further, to expand is amazing. And that's why the military has people actually make their bed every morning. Why? Because it's the first goal of the day that they complete, and it sets you up in the mind. You feel better that you've accomplished something, and you go to attack the next thing. You come in with a level of confidence. That level of confidence goes into the day when you're seeing the patient, when you're communicating to them to move forward or not with the treatment, why they should move forward with it. This builds a tone in you and a positivity in you. So my goal for this web class, obviously, is results. Anyone that doesn't do the work can't be successful. Analytics and software prove this. People that go through my program, I can see what they've done as far as the work. If they did 10% of the work, I know they're not successful. If they don't show up, I know they're not successful. I can tell you who is. It's those that showed up and did the work, right? It's the same as anything. If you do the work, the job gets done. So firing yourself as an employee. Stop being the dentist bent over the chair, working so hard. I know it sounds weird. You go, well, I got to make money. I got to see these patients. It's not the only way to become successful. So let me show you quickly here the trifecta framework, how it can help you. It's you, your employees, your patients. Okay. Anyone that's tired of where they are now and wanting something better, this is one of the ways. New patients, case acceptance, more freedom from insurance if that's the way you want to go, less stress, more money, right? Isn't that all the stuff that we want as dentists? And yet we go, well, I'll take this program and hopefully it'll get me more people and more procedures and more money, right? That's how we think. That's how I thought for the first couple of years. But we don't talk about this stuff. So again, you got to do the work. The work is not learning more procedures. To some extent, you got to step back, fire yourself as a dentist, right? I pointed out kind of how I discovered a lot of this. It's through putting myself in difficult places. But if you can get yourself in the right place, in the right mindset, if you can then spill over into your employees, you can't do that if you're not taken care of. If you're having a bad day and a problem, you can't get your employees fired up. So you got to focus on you first. Once you've got you accomplished, then you go to your employees. Now you get them raised to a different level. They can see the difference in you when you're coming in a good mood and having a great day versus when you're not. And then from there, that relates to your patients. How can you get people to move forward if you're in a bad mood? How can you get patients to move forward if you're upset at something or frustrated? All three tie together. They all have to integrate. And yet, how often do we keep doing the same thing every day? It's like, oh, walk into work again. Oh, the employee didn't do something. Oh, there's another argument. Oh, and this patient didn't show up or they showed up late. Oh, they don't want to move forward even though they should. I explained it to them, right? This is dentistry because we're doing the traditional thing that we've always learned and always followed. So where does this fit in, this trifecta? Again, something's missing. It was missing for me. I know it's missing for many. I could not be a part of the dental insurance game personally. I'd worked in HMO offices. I'd worked in PPO offices, large quantities of patients, limitations, coding games, missing claims, patient complaints. Didn't want it. There had to be a better way. And so I found it. So the first was to work on me. I was a limitation in my mind and my own fears. I could not lead employees or patients if I did not work on me first. When I was strong and confident in mind and body, then I could work on the employees. And that leads into the patients. These are all critical pieces. And here they are. You come first. You take care of you. You get paid first. You get taken care of first. Then it's your employees. Then it's your patients. We focus typically on what? We focus on the patient, which is last. And we focus on delivering the product and service to them, which is last. It's the easiest thing you can do. The hardest thing is working on you. The next difficult, employees. You get these two firing, patients become easy. Right? So for you, let's look at you for a moment. Expansion of who you are in your mind and body and your skill sets, where you're limited currently, and everyone's different. There's not one way to fix everybody or to treat everybody. It's unique to each person out there. Okay? From there, once you've learned how to expand yourself on a regular basis, then it becomes, how do I balance this? How do I balance this and keep it all in perspective? It's like juggling. And from there, a commitment to maintain this level every day, every week, every month, every quarter. Because when you find a habit of how you can keep all these things in play, it makes life easy. When you fall out of habits is when you start to get lazy or frustrated or upset because you no longer have a goal. You have too many things that are bothering you versus an agenda and a path. We always must have an agenda and a path. So these secrets, number one, how to fire yourself as an employee and work on the business like a CEO. Number two, you don't need to offer a variety of services to be successful. You only need to offer one great thing. Doesn't mean you can't do all the others, but you need to offer one thing. What is it? It's up to each individual practice. Then the third one is balancing your time between service and sales. How often are you sitting there treating patients as opposed to trying to get people to move forward with you, your business, the procedures? That's sales. I'm not saying to sell anyone something they don't need. I've never said that. But you know patients that need something and they don't move forward. That means you didn't explain it well enough. Your communication skills were lacking. You say, no, they said they didn't have enough money. Everyone can find money. You didn't communicate the message well enough that they decided to make it important enough. Okay? It's a hard thing to do, but it's learnable. So all three of these things are key components. These are the three secrets I mentioned. Oops. Back up. All right. So let's go through the first one. I see most young dentists wanting to be an employee somewhere and be handed patients and handed money, but they're never owning anything. They're not building anything. They just want to achieve money to then pay a bill. In my mind, that's wrong. At the earliest part of your career, you should be learning how to attract patients and convert them. Because when you have that, you can run your own business and be quite successful. If all you're doing is just getting your hands speed up and learning procedures, well, that's one thing. But if you wait until later in your career to figure out the other two, you're going to be way behind the curve. So again, fire yourself as an employee. Stop being the dentist. Learn how to think like the CEO. So the first result, case study that we had, dropped insurance contracts. They renegotiated other contracts. They put in new marketing concepts and communication skills. They created more new patients and revenue than they had in their previous models. Employee performance went up. Positions changed based on what they were better at. And there was an additional revenue model starting to come in as well. It's amazing what can be done when you just change your mindset and your perspective. So why is this important? Obviously, it's an important story because anything is achievable if someone shows you a different way and you're committed to changing. The competition, there's a lot of competition out there. And so where you want to play, is it on the right side? Because that's where 90% of dental offices play. They're all fighting for the same patients. They're fighting over the price point of a procedure. And they're fighting over the insurance. Do you take my insurance? Yes or no? No? Oh, we can't come here. Yes? Great, you can come here. Why are we allowing other things to dictate who gets to come to our business and how much money we get to make? You can help anyone you want. You can give services away if you want. The question is, where do you want to position yourself? How often do you think about these things? How often do you train and look at this? I want to be on the left, that competitor 7. I want to be in a totally different ballpark. How do I get there is the key. I got to fire myself. I can't think like a dentist. I can't act like a dentist. I've got to be different. So this process works for anyone. I don't care if you're the new graduate. I don't care if you're an employee dentist at a DSO, if you're an associate, specialist, works for anyone. Anyone. I've proven it. You just have to become the authority. Now, how do you become the authority? By doing something different. So the first step to being different is being an authority. Now you say, well, if I'm an authority, I got to go take a bunch of classes and become the authority. No, you're thinking wrong. You're thinking like all the other dentists. So this is question number 3. First step to making your office more scalable is become the authority on something. Doesn't mean you have to do one thing, but make it look like you do one thing extremely well. Hey, I'm the dentist that treats dentists. Okay, that's valuable. Where do dentists go? They go to me. I'm the dentist that treats the dentist. Or I'm the guy with all the new technology to save your tooth and make the smallest holes in your teeth, or to find it early and reverse that process. There are a lot of games to be played. It doesn't have to be, I offer cosmetic dentistry or I offer Invisalign. It can be those things, but pick one and market to that as far as being an authority. Because let's face it, what do dentists do? I do everything. Please come to me. I do Invisalign. I do CEREC. I do this. I do that. Patient's like, they all look the same. And I don't know what most of those words mean. So instantly I just start looking, oh, that one's free. Okay. That one's a discount. This is a discount. Who's got the cheapest discount? Who takes my insurance? Who's free? Is that the client you want? Is that the mindset of the patient you want coming to you? It's like, well, I just want anybody. So yeah, I'll take them. Okay. We need to have a discussion on mindset. That'll work, but you're going to get burnt out over time. You can only, dig so many ditches before your back hurts. And you go, wow, I'm not making enough money. I can't keep doing it this way. But that's where a lot of dentistry is, right? Because they don't have the business skill set. They don't have the advertising and marketing skill set. So they go, I'm going to be like everyone else. I've got to undercut the guy next door. I got to offer it free because patients won't come to me unless I offer them a discount or it's free. That's the wrong mindset. But that's sadly what's in dentistry. And it's rampant. Look on the internet. It's everywhere. You are marketing to the cheap people. Is that who you want? Do they move forward with treatment? Marketing to cheap people is not the way to become successful unless you have a big team and you have the ability to make money on small margins. Okay. What do I mean by that? We'll get to that in a second. Look at websites. Everyone's website looks pretty much the same, right? Happy, smiling people. Family dentistry. Hey, we treat everybody and we do it happy, right? If everyone looks the same, how is a patient, a consumer, supposed to determine you over someone else? If you look at BMW or Audi or, Lamborghini, they all have a very unique appearance and difference between them. They're all cars, but they're unique. So what is the unique characteristic about you that you don't market? And by not marketing, you look the same as everyone else. Think about coffee. Most of you probably drink coffee. I don't. I'm naturally highly aspirated. I don't need that. You look at these 2 cups of coffee. Don't know what's in either one of them, but they look the same, don't they? Well, that's your dental office. You look the same as the other guy or gal. But unless you open up and taste it, you may not know. But if you're just calling dental offices saying, I need one, well, they all look the same. I'm just going to take what? I guess I'll take the cheap one. That's okay when you're buying coffee. Maybe not so much when you're doing teeth. Now you look at the one in the background. You go, hey, wait a minute, there's something different. Well, what is that? I like the look of that. It looks different. I'm going to go learn more. This is marketing. This is also you as a CEO of your business thinking how you're going to act differently and how people are going to perceive you differently. And the value you offer is different as well. So knowing what people want and like, presenting yourself in such a manner that they'll take that they want you to treat them because you're different is important. Okay. Now, whether it's a $3 cup of coffee or a $25 cup of coffee, doesn't matter at that point. We don't have to give them a 50% coupon. Okay. If they see what they want and they're willing to pay for it, they will go buy it. There's a perceivable difference there if you know how to market it and create it. So think about it. I use coffee because most people drink this stuff. I hear Folgers is lousy. I remember dad drinking it when I was a kid. You talk about coffee that's, from like McDonald's, and you go, okay, well, a lot of people are loving it, right? So is it pennies a cup for Folgers? Is it $1 to $2.50 for McDonald's? Is it some kind of fancy latte for $6 from Starbucks or something? I don't know how expensive they get from those places when you add all the foo-foo-ness, but I know the Kopi Luwak at the top, that stuff goes for $50 a cup and people pay for it. If you want to buy a bag of it, it's $200 a pound. It's created by the Asian civet. Looks like a little mouse or rodent of some sort. Now there's another one out there. It's over $50 a cup and it's over $500 a pound. Okay. So for you coffee drinkers, are you interested in spending this kind of money on coffee? Because there are people out there. This is what you get for $50 a cup for $500 a pound. You get some guy that fed coffee beans to an elephant, that by doing so, it broke it down using its enzymes, that when they collect the beans after it's been digested, it's supposed to be a delicacy that people pay for. Now, I'm not paying for it, but this is marketing. Somebody is. There's a place for that. I'm not saying you have to go to that degree, but marketing is everything. How do you determine who you want to see, and how you present yourself is key to being successful. If you're doing what everyone else is, very hard to be successful. So most dentists look like each other, right? They all rely on the same marketing company, the same dental company at the trade shows that promise them great things. And if you look at the back end, if you know marketing and coding and other things, you realize these companies aren't doing anything after they built something for you. There's a bunch of lies out there. It's amazing, right? But we spend all our time trying to treat patients and learn the next thing, instead of learning more about what's truly happening and having ownership of it. It's not to say you have to do everything, but to take ownership is important. And that's what a CEO does. The CEO runs things and they delegate to others. All right. So your employees, I mentioned, were also important. They have to be trained. 97% of dental offices do not train their employees. It's a fact. Hence, they have problems with employees. So you think training is important? Of course it is. But most of us would say, I'm too busy. I don't have time. I can't do it. Well, then don't be surprised if you get a lackluster performance, or they're not doing things the way you would like. And they're getting an hourly salary, let's say. So why would they push for more? And if you say, okay, I'll give you, a bonus. Well, have they been trained on how to get there? Now, the next thing is, are they accountable? How do you track them to make sure they're accountable? Are they leveraged to do everything the way you want? How do you track these things? And do they feel appreciated? How much time do we spend appreciating them? Because if you do all three of these, you'd be amazed what kind of superstars you can get. And pretty much everyone on the team can start creating money and opportunity for you. But we don't spend time on it, right? So this is another one of those important triangles. This is question number 4. What's the second step you should take to make your dental office run smoothly? Train, manage, respect to your employees. You'd be amazed what this can do. I only have 2 employees. You better believe we pay them well and we take great care of them. They're part of the team. They're the family. I see these offices got 3 front office people managing insurance and all these things. It's like, you know what? You need to train people better. You need to streamline. You need to add some automation, and you'd be amazed at what you can do with the right people. But oftentimes we don't do that because we're focused on, I need to sit in the chair and do dentistry. I got to pay the bills. So secret number 2, you don't need to offer a variety of different services to become successful. You don't have to offer everything. It just confuses everyone. Half the time they don't know what it is, right? Me, I learned this early on. I learned it as a paper boy. I'm selling one thing. You either want it or you don't, okay? As a general dentist, you can offer everything. But marketing to one specific type of customer, one specific type of thing, gets those people coming to you. You hit your target audience, they're willing to pay you. From there, you can do all the other procedures once these people get here. And you say, well, that's not going to make me enough money. I'm not going to get enough patients. And this is, again, where this mindset gets in the way, saying, no, you think you have to offer everything. But by doing so, you're just shooting a shotgun in the air and hoping you hit something and it comes back. I'm saying get strategic. go after exactly what you want. And when you get it and make more money from getting what you want, and they wanted you, then they can continue to take all your other services. Okay. But we don't think about that in dentistry. You need to offer a unique value that sets you apart. It doesn't have to be a procedure. It can be many things, as I mentioned earlier. So line number 5 on your cheat sheet, a perceived values that others cannot or do not offer. This is to position yourself differently. People buy based on value, whether it's the actual cost being the value or the emotional value or the need value. I need something. It's urgent. These are 3 different things to play off of, but we all play off of cost typically. Okay. So why? The question is why? Why do you want to do more of whatever it is? Is it I want to do more Invisalign cases? I want to do more implants, more all-on-4s, more veneers. Why do you want to do it? What's the goal? Be honest with yourself. I want to do it for what reason? I want to help people. I want to make more money. I want to work less hours. What is it? You got to define it. Define what you are offering and why you're offering it and why there is value there to you and value to your patients, because this is where the gold is. If you can figure these out, and it's different for everyone out there, that's where you find the gold, because you market to these people that want exactly what you want, your ideal patient, not the typical patient that you get all the time. Who is your ideal patient? Where do they live? Where do they drive? What do they do? What do they eat? What do they wear? You can target all of these things. The same as you get targeted every day. Your information is out on the internet for anyone to buy, right? So now that you know you can buy information, who is your target? If you know your target, I'm going to send information right to you on your phone. I'm going to track you around. I'm going to track you on the internet. Right? Now, how many times have you looked at something on Amazon and all of a sudden there's ads for that showing up on Facebook or on Google when you're looking at something? You land on a page and there's an ad there. Like, how do they're listening and following me? They are. And you can buy that information. So you want to do a certain procedure? Well, you can find people that want that and you can target them. Heck, you can follow them around for 90 days and this can all be automated. I don't have to lift a finger anymore. You just have to set up the automation. It's like an ATM. It works 24/7. I'm going after who I want specifically, as opposed to sitting here and asking my front desk, hey, I hope we get an implant case this month. I hope we get a veneer case this month. No, I'm going out and getting it. I get what I shoot. I get what I kill. Food doesn't just show up on my plate every month. I got to go get it. So I'm targeting people. So who is your ideal patient? This is question number 6 on your cheat sheet. Who is your ideal patient? Who is your typical patient? Who do you typically see? Is that who you want? Well, if that's not who you want, then you better look at your marketing, because your marketing is pulling in that type of patient. And the reason I know this is I've seen the dentist that has rented space for me for the last 14 years. Her patients are very unique. They're a different breed. We know when they walk through the door, that's not one of Snyder's patients. It's that obvious. Who she goes after, unbeknownst to her, she takes whatever she gets, but she gets a certain breed. Okay. So this is important. So we're not trying to get everybody. It's a weird concept, but it works. We don't want everyone. We want specific people. We want people that want to be here. They want to pay for our service and they value what we offer because they can distinguish there's a difference. I want a certain type of person and I can pick them out. I know who it is I want. I'm very calculated in who it is. I plan for it. Okay. Knowing who you want to be specific is important. And that's what I'm going to prove again when I go to Las Vegas. I've already been doing it. I've been out there for a year and a half renting a space. I have proven I can get exactly what I want. And I don't need any employees for that. Okay. I can actually go so close, say, I know who you are. I can see you. Right. I'm no longer shooting blindly with a shotgun, hoping to get something. I'm very tactical in exactly who I want. And I will go after them and win the majority of the time. Okay. So patience. Patience is the other part of the trifecta. It's the third piece. This is where we play most of the time. We play at the bottom of the triangle. That's why it's down there. It's the last thing. It's the least important in my mind, is delivering, right? But if you can't attract the patient, if you can't convert that patient, how are you ever going to deliver? Say, I took such and such's course 7 weeks long. I know how to rebuild occlusion. I know how to do all these things, but my marketing doesn't present that. So I'm not attracting those. And the patients that I do have here are my typical patients, and they've had worn dentitions their whole life. They've been with me. And now I'm trying to tell them they got to fix the whole mouth all of a sudden. And they're like, nope, not interested. Right? So I can't attract the ones I want. I can't convert the ones that are already there, but I know how to deliver it, at least from taking the course. I think I know how to deliver it, but I haven't done any reps yet, or I've done few reps. So I don't feel real confident yet. So I'm taking more courses, trying to get more confident. And by taking more courses and trying to get more confident, I still achieve nothing. Okay. So think about it. The 99-cent store, you might have been there once or twice. I know I have. It's a good way to put up stuff in the office as far as, celebrations for employees. But they have a plan. They have a market capability that they have small profit margins, but they're profitable, right? Everybody knows what they're selling when you go to the 99-cent store. Okay. There is a value there for what you're going for. You're going for an inexpensive thing. Now, are you the dental office that offers the inexpensive everything like the 99-cent store? Okay. Not knocking it. There is a market for it. Okay. But you better have large volume and the ability to move a lot of product to be profitable. Now, Walmart, oh, they actually make jokes about Walmart online. The people and things you see when you're shopping there. I've been there, I've seen it. It's crazy, but there's a reason we go there, right? There was a convenience. It was the only place like by me. They have everything. So I went knowing it's gonna be a little different. You get in and out as fast as you can and try not to touch things. But again, there's a market for it, right? They've done well. Again, profit margins are lower. They got to work harder. Now, we've all been to Target. We see something different, right? It's a little different. You're going to pay a little more, but there's a reason why we go there, right? Now, what about Nordstrom's? Now, they're even larger of a differentiator. Specific people go there, not everybody, right? Might be a little more expensive. You might get what you pay for, but then again, sometimes you can see the same stuff at Macy's. You're going there for the service. You're going there that you'll be taken care of. You know that if you have a problem, they will resolve it. Okay? There's a recognizable value to the people that visit this establishment. So question number 7 for you is, how is your marketing uniquely different from your competition? And if it's not, then be honest and say so. And recognize that that's one of the things we got to fix. So for Nordstrom's, it's all about the quality of service. Okay. So the secret to, or the framework secret to number 2 is basically that if you're doing everything, you can't be great at anything. And you want patients to perceive that you're the person they want to see for a certain type of service. If you want to truly grow things. If you want to be a general dentist and offer everything, you can. But ultimately, at the end of the day, who do you want as a customer? You want the person that shows up on time, that wants to pay the money, that wants to get services done. That's a unique person you need to market to, isn't it? It's not everybody. So if you haven't differentiated yourself or created this desire in the public's eye, then you're not going to get what you want. And you can't market everything because people just see you as the same as everyone else. And yet you hope that you get enough patients each month that want to do certain services, but you haven't marketed those patients. So you're just hoping at this point. You're hoping the universe gives you what you want, but you haven't done anything to get it on yourself. And marketing is actually easier than you think. With technology nowadays, it's very easy. And the agencies make it sound like it's this complex craziness. It's not. I've been building websites with my website company for over 10 years now. There's a lot of things you can learn there, but it goes way beyond a website. A website is just a storefront. It's all the code and everything behind that that's all over the internet. That you go, well, I don't have to learn all that. You don't need to. It's just hiring certain people that can do it for you. When you know what you need and know how it's supposed to be done, you can delegate. Delegating is huge. That's what CEOs do. They delegate. Okay. Dentists oftentimes don't advertise. They say, well, I've got word of mouth. I got enough patients. It's word of mouth. That's great. But how do you expect to grow when you're hoping someone tells someone else to come to your business? You're hoping that they tell someone to come in for the procedure you want to do. I'm not waiting around hoping my patient tells somebody around a water cooler someday. I'm going out and getting more myself. Now, granted, I want my patients to talk. We incentivize them to go out and talk to people. Okay. There are ways in which you can get people to go promote you. But ultimately, you got to do the work of marketing to get what you want if you want to grow and get there faster. So to stand out, it's simple. Do what everyone else is not doing. Makes it easy. Post valuable content. Be unique. Automate things so that you're getting business 24/7. Okay. So your message, and your uniqueness are what allow people to see you out of the crowd of other dentists, to value you. I mean, we play games so much that we even tell people like, no, we're not accepting new patients. And they're like, wait, what? I can't see you. But I'm the patient. I get to choose you. It's like, no, we choose who we work with. We're not open for you. And they're like, now they want to come even more. Like, I can't get into that place, but I want to go to that place. I've heard good things about that place. The game of marketing is quite unique. Doesn't matter what your degrees are. Doesn't matter what your website says. It's bigger than that. Okay? Way bigger. But we don't look at these. We don't talk at these things. You are selling you. You are selling the uniqueness about you and what you give. There are certain people that want that value and they will give you money. Knowing who they are and positioning yourself is the key part. Utilizing technology. Technology allows us to do more than ever. We can connect with anyone we want now. It's very important because this data, if you're utilizing it, gets you exactly what you want. So in the beginning, question 2, I think it was, what were the 3 things you want? The 3 frustrations you have. Well, if you know exactly how to remove those to get the exact patient you want, procedures you want, the money you want, well, now you're just targeting the data and letting the automation do the work, and it's giving you what you asked for. It's simple. They can do it 24/7, right? They're saying nowadays, research states that 10 to 26 exposures have to occur before someone makes a decision to move forward to buy today. Okay? Automation can do that for you. It can put it in front of these people 10 to 26 times. You can actually find who wants you and put it in front of them. Makes them want to come in. Okay. Versus the old ways, mailers, yellow page ads, magazines, newspaper ads, sponsorships for like Little League and PTA stuff. That was the past. Now, in certain rural areas, it might still work, but there's a way better way that you're no longer just shotgunning stuff out into the world. You're going after exactly what you want. Okay. You know who they are. You can track them. You can know how long they stayed and listened or watched your content. You know where they live, what they like, what they're looking for, and you can follow up on all of that. So the future is right now. The ability to engage with these people is different than it's ever been before. And most dentists, they don't do this. They don't think like this. They're sitting right now cutting the next preparation as opposed to working on their business, taking time out of the schedule to think different and act differently to be able to do more with less. Trying to get that engagement up is not hoping. It's not wishing. It's not dreaming. It's making a change in you. So secret number 2, another example. Every office I worked with in the past 16 months that implemented the marketing plan I outlined saw a 10% or more increase in revenue. And you can see just from what I'm talking about that it's very easy to change something and instantly make more money. Okay. Another dentist works 8 days a month just doing aligners and produces 7 figures. I can't give you his name because he doesn't want you to go look at his website and see his marketing. He's crushing it. Okay. He picked one thing. He says, I'm just doing aligners from now on. Done. But when people get in there, like, hey, you got other people in here. Can you do a filling for me? Or can you do a cleaning for me? Like, yeah, we do that stuff too. They're like, oh, I thought you just did aligners. His marketing's working. He's getting exactly what he wants. But once they're there, he keeps them. And those people can now go stand around the water cooler and say, yeah, my dentist is phenomenal. Oh, the Invisalign guy? Yeah, that's who it is. Oh, well, I thought he just did Invisalign. No, he does cleanings and stuff too. Like, oh, I didn't know that. It's because his marketing is not advertising to you for that, right? So fear and scarcity holds us back. Facts, growth, honesty, that's what grows us. Okay? Too often dentists live in fear. Your overhead as far as materials, it's supposed to be 5% or less. And so dentists are trying to cut corners on some little 5% item, on trying to get a little less expensive composite or something. That's not going to make you more successful or put a lot of money in your bank for retirement. Forget that. Spend the money. I don't care if you spend 6%, 7%. It's on the marketing and advertising, which most dentists don't want to pay for because they say, well, I don't have enough money. I'm not making enough. You have to spend money to make money. But fear holds most people back. They say, well, I can't spend it. I don't have enough. Then put it out there to the world, spend it and see what you get back, but you better market well, right? The limitations are on you. It's in your mind. It's too tough. I can't do it. My patients won't accept it. They won't pay for it. I don't have patients that want that. The list goes on and on. These are all excuses. If you haven't done it, if you weren't committed to it, if it wasn't thought out well, or you gave up, then yeah, you failed. If you never give up, you can't fail. But you have to have a good plan. How do you create that plan? Do you ask other dentists that are floundering and doing the same thing as everyone else? No. Fear is a liar. False evidence appearing real. Everyone wants to tell you their fears. That doesn't help you. Everyone wants to be in a comfort zone. They feel safe and in control there. But really, someone else is in charge. And in life, they're going backwards because the world is still expanding and growing and they're not. You need to move into that fear zone, get rid of the excuses and limitations, and start to push through. And it's amazing as you get through that, you start to feel more confident and better. Go like, wow, I broke out of that one. All right, what am I doing next? I'm learning this next thing. Oh, this is cool. I'm on to the next. The ceiling just got moved up. I'm conquering more things. I have a positive mindset. I'm moving forward as opposed to a scarcity, negative mindset. It's like, oh, I can't do it. I can't do this. Oh, there's another patient complaining. It's negative this and that. That sets you up for failure. You stay in your comfort bubble. Most people won't break out of this. That's why there's a lot of employees out there. People that break out of their comfort zones own businesses and create bigger things. So you need to do one thing. You need to market to who you want as a patient with the services they seek. You still can offer everything else. You can still accept insurance, but you got to change the way you look at your business. It becomes very obvious, and it's easy to achieve more of what you want in business and revenue when you push yourself out of your comfort zone and implement strategic and unique marketing automations targeted at exactly who you want. Okay? Marketing is everything. Word of mouth isn't going to grow you fast. It isn't going to get you where you want to be. That's comfort. You need to change that mindset. Secret number 3, balancing your time between providing dental services and sales. I kind of hit on this already. Balancing time between doing the dentistry and sales, communication. Okay. I learned this also early in life, right out of high school, my summer job before college. I went into a Nissan dealership dressed in a suit because Dad always said, you wear a suit when you go for an interview. Okay. I went for the lot boy position. I was a water polo player, a swimmer. I wanted to just be out in the sun all summer, washing cars, getting a suntan, right? But I wore a suit. They said when they saw me, it's like, you don't want to go wash cars. I was like, I don't? They're like, no, you want to sell cars. You want to make money. I was like, okay, I'm listening. Yeah, all right, tell me more. So they taught me how to think differently. I was going to do a simple thing and make minimum wage. And they're like, no, you can make way more money. It's not that hard to do. Let's show you. And so they were showing me how to sell a car, sell a product, sell a service. Well, isn't that what we do in dentistry? We're selling our services. We're selling the product of a filling, a crown, a veneer, Invisalign, whatever it is, right? I'm not saying to hustle someone, to sell someone they don't need. If someone's coming there, they already have a desire for something. It's your job to figure out what they desire, and whatever you have, does that fit what they want, or do they need to go somewhere else? Okay. And then it becomes, all right, am I selling to everyone that comes onto the lot the cheapest car possible, and I'm getting only $100 spiff for each car I sell? Or am I spending more time and seeing if, hey, maybe they want to put the rims on it, or maybe they want to put the stereo in it, or maybe they want to upgrade the seats. Now I've added to it by just offering something. I asked a question, do you want something like this? and I talked about all the benefits of it. And if they said yes, well, that puts more money into my pocket, right? Didn't make them do anything. I just asked questions. Is that not any different than, hey, you ever thought of straightening your teeth? I've got Invisalign if you're interested. You want to whiten them? I've got that too, right? That is communication. That is sales. That is business. Didn't sell them anything they didn't need. They desired to have it, and I exposed them to an opportunity. So what's the plan for you? What's the plan in your business? Each day needs a plan. You need to show up to work with a plan. What am I going to accomplish today? A plan towards what? What is the goal? How often do you think about daily goals? Okay. We don't, right? We just hope that we get there by the end of the month or the end of the day. So question number 8 on your cheat sheet. Are you doing all the elective dentistry you would like to be doing? If not, why? Is it because your patient base just wants what insurance offers? Is it the limitation that, oh, well, insurance doesn't cover that? And is that like, okay, well, if they don't cover it, I guess I won't ask you or I won't push? Or is it, let's talk about how you can have what you want, regardless of someone paying for it, we can make it affordable, right? There's a whole communication in there. Or you can just stick to treating as many patients as possible. As I always call myself, digging a hole one tooth at a time. How many can you dig before you get burnt out or you get physical injury from the job? You say you don't have time to work on the business, then you need to learn how to make time, because there's no way for you to grow and change your business if you don't create the time for you and the time for interaction with your patient to get them to understand and move forward. Otherwise, you're both stuck. You're not getting away. You're not going anywhere, right? You can keep filling in all these holes, but it's going to take a long time to ever become profitable. And if insurance keeps taking their money, how many you got to fill? So what are you currently doing? What would you like to be doing? Why aren't you? What is limiting you? That is you. Okay. The third component, patience. The majority of one's time is typically on delivery. We've hit this a lot, right? But how often do you spend time on attracting them and converting them with case communications, right? Case acceptance, training on that to be able to deliver the product you've been training so hard on and wanting to perform more of. This all leads us to question number 9. How much time do you spend on new patient exams, consultations, and periodic exams, and why? Because all too often I hear people like, oh, the hygiene check. Okay, I got to stop the filling or crown. I got to run over there, quickly run in. Hygiene check, hi, 2 minutes. Yes, thanks for picking out the x-rays and showing me where a cavity is or a problem or a crack. And yes, do that, that. And I'm out of here, bye. Okay, did you really sell much of anything? The patient's like going, what was that? Like, I don't know what I need, and I don't even know if I need it. Nothing hurts. He didn't spend any time with me. So instantly in their mind, there's like, yeah, I don't know. And so they get up to the front desk. They're like, you want to schedule? They're like, I don't know. I might get a second opinion. I don't know, right? How are you going to get people to move forward if you don't spend more time with them and communicate the reasoning as to why they should move forward? And it's not pointing an x-ray saying, see here, you got a cavity, you got to get this fixed. Patients don't like being told what to do. Patients will spend money on Cadillacs and gold and TVs and houses and clothing and food because they want it. They desire it. Emotionally, they need it. They want to show the world they own it. That's not what happens when you tell someone they need a filling. Now, if you get them involved emotionally where they make their own decision that they want it, now you have them. Now they'll pay for it. And that's a skill set. Okay. So the Pareto principle, the 80-20 rule, you've probably heard of it. So basically 80% of your sales comes from 20% of your profitable patients, while 80% of your costs come from your 20% of unprofitable customers. Yet you want to keep attracting the wrong type of customer. You can't treat everyone. You don't want to treat everyone. But in your mind, you're saying, I'm supposed to treat everyone. I do everything. I treat everybody. That's how I make money. This is one of the falsities inside of dentistry that a lot of dentists just will never understand or know. The great thing about recognizing who the 20% of your most profitable patients are is that you can now spend more time marketing to them specifically with your spare time if you want to be successful. And when you start to trim the fat of the people that waste your time, they don't show up, they cause all the problems with the employees, they have the insurance issues, they don't pay on time. You cut these out, it's amazing how more profitable you can be and how much more time you and your employees have to be happy and less frustrated and to work on being more profitable with the good people. Okay, so when you're not trying to treat everyone, you instantly become more successful. So again, stepping away and spending time with patients is important. Recognizing who they are is also important. So the framework, the secret behind this number 3 is, what is the one thing you want to do more of in dentistry? You can have it, you can do it. How can you spend more time doing that one thing is what you'll figure out. How much time do you spend selling that one service is critical to getting to do that service. So you got to build time in. If you don't invest the time in yourself in the sale, you won't get people to say yes as easily. You've got some patients may have been you with 5, 10 years. They're loyal to you and they'll do what you say. But not everyone's like that, as you all know. So learning how to create more time to interact with the patient is fundamental. It's part of the framework. Learning how to get someone motivated to move forward is also a key component. That is communication. That is a skill set that can be learned. When you master these 3 steps, you will have all the abilities to get what you want. So again, what are your goals? Start right now. You've got your paper, you have it pretty much filled out. These are the things you need to work on. Okay? Don't be reactionary every day to every patient, to every opportunity. Be strategic in what you want and how you're going to get it, and don't get distracted away from that. So for many of the things that I do, such as like racing, how could I strategically position myself and learn what I need to learn in all the aspects so that I can gain the ability to get a pro card, gain the ability to drive for a team, gain the ability for someone to sponsor me? How do I do that? What do I have to learn? What do I have to practice? Okay. Who's going to train me? Who's going to mentor me? Who's going to get me there faster? And how do I get the repetitions under my belt? How many times do I have to fail and learn and pick myself up again before I get to be successful? You have to persevere. You have to commit to being better by any means necessary if you truly want to be great at something. So question number 10, how can you increase your case acceptance? What would you have to learn, practice, or get involved with or guidance from so you can be more successful at that? Communications and sales, as well as being committed and having perseverance, is what allows me to achieve many things in life. And so the passion of racing, I would have never thought this was possible. But I put it as a goal and I set out all the steps that allow me to get there. So again, you can do anything you want, but you have to work on you. You got to put in the time, you got to put in the effort. And if you do, you'd be amazed how successful you can become. But it starts with you. So think of how many hours you spend learning how to do bonding or veneers or photography, and how much money you spent traveling and learning all these things. Consider that most techniques are very similar, and that possibly having watched 1 or 2 programs would give you all the knowledge you needed. But you wanted more confidence. You wanted more, repetitions. So how do you get that? Well, reps on a typodont or reps on a patient. Well, you can't do that unless you've got the patients. So hence the chicken and the egg. You got to get patients to come in. You got to get them to convert, and then you get to practice. So exposing yourself to practices and skill sets that have been successful is important. How did they get there? What can I do to be similar? Okay. That's what you need to evaluate. So you don't have to be great to start, which is the limitation for most dentists. I feel, oh, I got to perfect. I got to be great at this before I can do it. You don't have to be, right? You just have to start. Start being different. Start creating goals, but you have to have a plan. It's not just, hey, I want to have more money. That's not a goal. I want to have X amount of money, $100,000 in the bank in the next month. Okay. That's the goal you have in 30 days. How are you going to make it happen? What do you have to do starting at day 30 and work backwards to today to make that happen? not wishing for it to come out of the sky. How do I make that happen? Only 3% of the population sets goals, and only 1% write them down. Okay? And 60% of people abandon their goals within 6 months. By writing them down, you're 42% more likely to achieve them, but only 1% do it. And you wonder why some people are successful and others are not. So how are you going to get more of the patients you want? Set a goal, write it down, put a timeline to it, and then start to plan how you're going to make it happen. So most people dream or hope. A dream written down becomes a goal. A goal broken down into steps becomes a plan. A plan backed by action makes your dreams become a reality. But if you're trying to do it alone, it's hard to do. Very hard to do by yourself. Now, you have accountability if you're in some kind of network or social setting where you can say to someone like, I bet you in 30 days, I'll have this done. Now you have accountability, right? You're like, okay, someone's going to call you out on that in 30 days. Now the leverage is, oh, shoot, I just leveraged myself and told them I'm doing it. I have to get it done or I'm going to have egg on my face, right? Or you put money behind that. Now it's like, oh, I'm going to lose money if I don't get it done. You have to have accountability. You have to have that plan, right? And you have to have leverage to make you want to finish it. The commitment has to be there. Okay? So to do that, you typically need what? You need a coach, someone to help you, a mentor, somebody to show you how to get to a different place, how to expand yourself. Maybe it's many coaches, many mentors. Maybe it's listening and reading a lot of books. That's a mentorship to some extent, but you have to have someone. And let's face it, everyone that's successful, from athletics to business people, to marketing people, to retirement, everyone has some kind of advisor to help them. Because let's face it, none of us know everything. We have to hire someone to get there. Okay. A coach will help with that kind of thing. So the secret number 3, I mentioned Dr. Chris Christensen earlier. He owns a practice. It's a DSO with 2 other dentists. He recognized he needed help. He got a coach. He changed the protocols for how and when he sees patients in his schedule. Okay. His DSO model, it was like, your schedule's full. He's like, no, we're changing things. I'm freeing up space. I'm making a different column for how I want to do things. And by doing so, he changed how much time he sees each of these patients. He found that where he was trying to see a lot of patients, he became more successful by seeing less and changing his schedule. Okay. And then he worked on his case presentation skills, the ability to communicate with these people, getting them to move forward. Patients, employees, and the partnering dentists are like, wow, what'd you do different? How is it you were more successful than us now? It's amazing to see the transformation that his employees and colleagues have seen in him, and the patients have seen it as well. The patients say, wow, no one has talked to me like this before. No one has done this before. He's doing something different, and there's a value in that. And the patient goes, you know what? I'm moving forward with you. Okay. So having gone back and reviewed audio and video recordings for his exams, yes, recording video and audio of his exams to improve himself, to see where his pitfalls are, because we don't know until we see ourselves. Everyone took notice, from the partners and employees to the patients, and he's now more successful because of it. Okay. So I told you there's a balance. There's a balance between the trifecta. All 3 have to be in play, but on every triangle, there are 3 sides that also have to be in balance. If any one of those is out of balance, you can't be as successful. You have to have all 3. You get to define kind of what they are for your business. So in a DSO model like Dr. Chris, or a fee for service like me, or a PPO like many out there, it works for anyone. It's just a matter of how you implement for your business and the goals that you want to achieve. So we've covered a lot of different things. We've covered how to fire yourself as an employee and work on the business like a CEO. We talked about how you don't need to offer a variety of services to be successful. You still offer them, but you don't market it that way. Okay? You're offering something unique that people want. Secret number 3, balancing your time between providing dental services, sitting behind the chair and drilling that hole. Balance your time between that and communicating to get people to move forward with the treatment that you want to do is important if you want to grow and become more successful. And you want to get more repetitions for those types of procedures, you got to spend a little more time than the quick hygiene check. Okay. All right. So let me ask you a question. Are you enjoying the webinar so far? Feel free to type in the chat box. I know I'm having fun. Type yes in the chat box if you learned something new today, something that's going to change your perspective, that when you leave here, you go, I've got the tools that I need to make a difference. Now I just have to have leverage and accountability. Who's going to do that for you? Who's going to help you with that? That's the question you have to ask. Are you going to go all in on yourself to build something bigger and remove your frustrations? So who wants to take it to the next level? Again, how many people want to be committed to growing something unique, living the life that you want on your terms versus allowing insurance companies and patients, that's right, patients dictate what you get? Why don't you start thinking how you're in charge, you run the business, and it's on your terms? That's when you can make real things happen. And that's how I play the game. It is a game, just a matter of seeing it for what it is. So hence I call that dominating dentistry. And yes, it is a different approach. Very different. And we don't talk about this. Nobody talks about this stuff in dentistry. It's how can we do another filling? Who's got the new filling material? What company came out with a new impression material? Oh, a scanner. Oh, great. That's cool technology. I got to have it. Is that getting you new patients? Is that getting you where you want to be? So we've talked about a lot. Dominate dentistry. What is it? It's something uniquely different. It's unconventional. There are no sponsors here. It's me telling you how I do things, and it's a different approach. And it's not saying you're going to do what I do. You're going to take the knowledge and you're going to apply it to you and make it unique for you, the business you run, and who you want to go after. But it's a simple philosophy and practice not found in the dental industry. It's business. It's years of business that I've learned how to implement to get what I want. Utilization of the Legion trifecta framework to change your mindset and your approach to business. Instead of waiting, it's building. It's getting what you want, creating the lifestyle you want. It's a systematic process implemented to create change, positive change in the business that impacts you, your family, your revenue. It's amazing what it can do. So developing and implementing systems to simplify your success, so you're not having to learn everything on your own, giving you concepts to implement to create the success you desire, working together as a group. Hence, I call it Legion. It's a group. We fight for the same things. We fight for success. We fight for the knowledge. We fight for expansion, helping you build, helping each other build, to stay away from fears. Okay. Running by yourself is hard to do. If I said right now, go run 5 miles, you'd be like, wait, 5, And if 5's not long enough, fine, go run 10. You're like, wait, what? No, right? There's certain things we don't want to do alone. Now, if I said, hey, I'll get 10 guys to jog with you, we'll go 5 miles. We'll go at whatever pace we need to go, and we're all going. You'd be like, yeah, I'm down for that. I'm in. Let's do it. Okay. The business is no different. Who's going to play with you? Who's going to hold you to that level? Who's going to push you and keep you going when you're stumbling? That's what Dominate Dentistry is. So it's an online masterclass. Live presentations, online content, self-study, as well as group chat. The ability to interact like this. The ability to interact 24/7 through an app. The ability to learn at whatever pace you want within an app. That is the ability of what we have inside of Legion. Dr. Christensen again wrote this wonderful statement. Again, he works in a DSO. It always amazes me how little patients can value their oral health. Right? As a dentist, I feel as a duty to help my patients discover for themselves the desire to not only save their teeth, but also to choose the best treatment. My ability to provide treatment doesn't matter. My ability to provide treatment doesn't matter unless I can lead my patients to agree and pay for the needed treatment. My skill set has grown in so many ways via patient communication and case acceptance, working one-on-one with Todd, and taking his course provided the feedback and skills to find the courage to present comprehensive treatment and to ask the right questions to get my patients to see their true desire for their health and to pay for that treatment. The money invested working with and learning from Todd has more than paid for itself in these skills that I get to keep for life. Imagine what that can do. He's working in DSO. He has his hands tied in some ways, but there's always a way to make things better. Hugh Flax, totally different scenario. So it works in any game, any type of office. New patient increase in quality, not necessarily numbers. He didn't get more patients. Increase in the quality, the type that he wanted. So it's no longer a shotgun. It's tactical. I want exactly that, and I'm getting it. Case acceptance, quoting bigger cases, has seen a 20% increase with asking more connections, connecting, and having an office manager who can help him close. That's right, employees. That was number 2 in the trifecta. Revenue. They're experiencing a 25% increase, adding more efficient and effective systems. So it can work for anyone if they're dedicated. So it works for any type of dentist, no matter what your situation is. I don't care if you're an employee. It can work for you too. So what is it? It's a masterclass. How do you put a value on that? Hard to say. If you're using it for the rest of your life, there's a huge value in that, but let's call it $5,000. 10 hours of time. Okay, if you think of like a Spears course for 2 days, it's like $2,500. Okay, if that's about 8 hours at 4 hours a day or 6 hours a day. Okay, so it's about $5,000. We're going to cover dental services secrets, marketing secrets, case acceptance secrets over 10 days. You get a 30-day action plan. What is a 30-day action plan? Early in my career, I had to get new patients and make money. We talked about that. And we still have it to this day. Everyone has to find more patients to make more money. You have your existing, that's great, but I want new ones that want specific things. I told you how I was sleeping on the floor and doing all these things. I had to get strategic and tactical. And that's what this 30-day program, this ebook does. It gives you the skills. Okay? Everyday steps with accountability and trackability so that you'll be able to remove the frustrations that you have for your unique situation, increase your revenue, improve your workflow, increase your new patients, and implement long-term growth, and so many other things. So the time and money spent on this, implementing this tool, can help you to complete in 30 days what would have taken many years or hopes over many years, right? These tools can allow you to be more successful. So what's this tool worth? The 30-day action plan? At least another $2,500, I would say, but over the course of your career, again, it's thousands. Okay, so let's say you're at $7,500 now. You also get the 10 Steps to Marketing Success online ebook. Now, this is comprised of many different things, but like all dentists, I've trusted other website companies and people to help me. And I found that most of them are lying and playing games. I have since gone out over the last 10 years and found how to play the game differently. I created my own marketing company, right? My own website software. I've been playing the game on my own, doing things on my own. And so I'm going to expose you to how to play the game differently and how you can implement various types of automation digitally that allow you to rise to a different level that no one's ever played at. From there, the benefits of this book, showing you all these different aspects, allows you to work more efficiently, right? 24/7 automation. So you can get more patients that want what you offer. You may say, hey, well, you know, I don't market because I already have a large patient base. Yeah, but you have frustrations with existing clients, with the money, what have you, and you're not doing maybe what you want. So marketing is a good thing. You should always be marketing. Even during the pandemic, most big companies continue marketing. We kept marketing. We got more new patients during a bad time, but most dentists stopped marketing. Most dentists closed their offices. We didn't close. We put out more marketing. We got new patients. We had a phenomenal year. It was our best year ever. Crazy, right? You may say, well, I'm word of mouth. Well, word of mouth, how well does that grow your business every month? You're hoping and waiting someone comes into your practice versus going out and making it rain. If you know how to market, you know how to make it rain. I want it to rain all the time. You say, well, I already have a website. It's not a website. Websites could care less. There's so many other things out there without even having a website. There's so many ways to make money with automations nowadays on the internet. You say, well, I can't afford it. If you can't afford it, you need this more than anyone because you need to learn how to get out of that mindset and to spend a little money so you can make a lot of money. Otherwise, you're always going to be playing in the game of, I hope someone shows up. I hope I can pay my bills. I hope I make some money, right? So you get these three things, but what else? We're also going to give you a Daily Growth Secrets ebook. That Daily Growth Secrets is created from many years of anger and frustration, difficulties, as well as thousands of dollars that have been spent searching for answers. The realization that, hey, darkness, anger, problems, frustration, these are gold. This is where you find your power. This is where you expand yourself. Don't run from them. Embrace them. These are gifts that allow you to be better. These will actually help you to perform at a different level if you can push through them. So this book is designed to simplify and speed up the process so you can learn from these things. So created from many years of trial and error, investing lots of money in coaching, in listening to books, in trying things. This is what it's all about. And even Branson talks about it. Finding something frustrating and seeing an opportunity to make it better is what entrepreneurship is all about. And how often in dentistry do we just suck it up and keep dealing with the frustration? And you may say, hey, everything's great and you have no problems. I would say you're lying to yourself. Everyone has problems. They just choose not to share it. When you see someone, you say, hey, how you doing? They're like, great, because no one wants to say what they're having at the home life, the business, whatever it is, right? Everyone on the internet is doing fabulous. We all know that's a bunch of lies. It's all candy coating. You may say, well, hard to believe that all the problems and frustration in our business are good to have. They are good to have. Good to have that you acknowledge them and remove them. Okay? There would allow you to push and grow, to change that ceiling, to expand yourself. Okay? So you say, okay, well, that's easily another $1,000. So now you're saying, okay, well, $9,500, I'd say it's substantially higher if you put it over the rest of your career. I mean, if you look at kind of the numbers that these businesses are doing, they've implemented these things, it's amazing. But there's more. What about a war map? What is a war map? A war map is something that helps me to determine where my frustrations are, how I'm going to overcome them, who I have to learn from or implement, what tools and technology I've got to put in place. So I'm taking my frustrations and limitations and putting light on them. I'm exposing them. It allows me to then create and build, to put a time to them in which I'm going to abolish them. This is what this tool does. And I use this tool daily, and it's recalibrated every week. It's a phenomenal tool that allows us to be different and to stay on point. And you may say, well, I already have a day planner, I already keep track of things. Yeah, how well is that working? This is unlike any other organizer you've used before. It gives you goals and clarity. And by being in a group to hold each other accountable, you build something different. You have to make it come true because people are going to look at you. So what's that worth? Well, I'd say it's at least $250. But again, if you're crushing goals of 6 figures, that's worth a lot more, is it not? So we're up to about $97.50, but there's more. There's a private mastermind group, the ability to chat with a group and have interaction with people of like mind going through the same things 24/7. The group chat is a phenomenal tool if one chooses to implement. It's, like I said, it's easier to run 5 miles when everyone's running with you versus trying to run alone. You know, for me, example, I stayed up for 54 hours with a bunch of Navy SEALs running around. Talk about mindset and game change when others are around you. You play to a different level, right? So the group chat allows you to interact, provide insights from others, gain information, to push each other to go further. Okay? It's not some BS Facebook group or other type of online thing where everyone says rah, rah, and hey, your work is great, this is great, that's great. And at the same time, it's not anyone hiding behind fake avatars, talking poorly or badly, and they haven't exposed who they are. This is being honest and real. It's something we don't have in dentistry. So telling people about the pains and the costs of those pains and how they've grown and how they've changed by implementing things, that's what truly sets you free and lets you soar. So what is that value? Easily another $250 from what I pay each month for the software. Okay. So your value is over $10,000. From there, there's more. There's weekly online group meetings, just like this, to get together and have a discussion of where we are and what's going on. And so they hold you accountable. You show up, you get things done. You don't show up, things don't get done. It's a proven fact. Analytics numbers prove that if you do the work, you become successful. So by adding that in, call it another $500, you're a value of over $10,000 at this point. You know, wow, that's getting expensive, right? That's your mindset saying, oh, no, that's too expensive. I'm out. If all this did was charge you $10,000, that wouldn't be fair. Nothing I do is to disturb or change you just to get money out of you. It's truly to grow you. I give 110, 120% on everything I do for anyone that's around me. And there are people of you that are on here that know that. Others that don't know me well enough, maybe not so. But I truly want everyone to grow. I am a teacher. I'm a builder. I want to help. Removing those frustrations and creating more treatment opportunities for you over the rest of your career, what is that worth? What's the value in that? It's definitely over $10,000, is it not? Giving you more qualified patients that want to come to you and say yes to what you offer, wouldn't that be worth it? So what is success worth? How much would you pay to get just one new patient a month that wants to do a big full mouth case or a bunch of veneers or a bunch of Invisalign? One extra patient a month, what is that worth? What's the value of these patients over a lifetime? Creating more elective dentistry for your office, what is the value in that? It's significant. So we can see there's significant value here. And because you're here today, you've learned a lot. You can leave with this information, you can leave with that paper, and you can go try and crush it alone. Hard to do alone. You want to come inside and play with us at a different level? Dominate Dentistry, a 10-day program to change your mindset, to give you tools, things that no one's exposed you to, things that work. They've worked for me. They've worked for everyone who's gone through the program that did the work. So you've got two choices. The first option is do nothing and stay where you're at, or take a leap of faith.
All of this content, as well as lifetime access to the content, for only $5.97. Click on the link and register now.